Okay, just did a sermon, and now I am filled with all kinds of second thoughts. The sermon was on John 9. If you read it, it is such a wild story. It's a great story, and John a lot of times gets into some weird theological discussions. And when he says, he gets deep and different. John is different. He's not just narrative. But here's a narrative story. Jesus heals a man born blind. So it starts with a man born blind who Jesus spits in the mud, spits in the dirt, rubs mud on the guy's eyes, and then sends him to wash his eyes, and he's healed. From then on, the story is this. Well, in the beginning, the disciples say, why is this guy being punished? Did he sin that he was born blind? Or did his parents, because he was born blind, what could he have done when he was a baby? It must be punishment because the sin of the parents follows to the third or fourth generation, the consequences. Then he is healed, and from then on, Jesus is explaining that blind people see better than sighted people. And what exactly does that mean? Well, the blind man goes to the Pharisees, the teachers and authorities, who are supposed to be the ones who really understand God's ways. The blind man goes to them, and they say, clearly Jesus is not of God. Clearly Jesus is not of God. And the blind man the whole story is going to be the blind man suggesting that Jesus must be of God. How could he heal? I used to be blind and now I see. You're saying this guy who healed me, just some blind guy, had nothing, I didn't deserve it, I just asked it. You're saying this guy that healed me is not of God, and you who have no power are of God. You teach all the time that God works through the righteous, but he's not working through you. In fact, my parents are afraid of you. They're not even willing to tell the truth to you, or to say the truth, because you'll kick them out of the synagogue. What in the world is that? So this whole story is a blind man wrestling with sighted men over who can see. In the end of the story, Jesus goes right back to the beginning. Who is in sin? Who sinned? It's the sighted people. The sighted people are in sin. The blind man is not in sin. If you're blind, you're not in sin. You're not lusting with your eyes. You don't have envy and covetousness because your eyes are looking at things that you want. Who sins, the blind or the sighted? And Jesus says it's the ones who see that are full of sin. Who is the best at not sinning? Who's the best you can think of at not sinning? I'll tell you. Dead people. Dead people do not sin. Dead people do not sin. Who's the worst at refraining from sin? Every living human. Every living human is full of sin. Dead people. Who should come to Jesus, and how should you come? Come as a dead person. Come as a blind person. Come as a lost person. Jesus heals the dead. He raises the dead. He gives sight to the blind. He finds those who are lost. Amen.